Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker. And for this lesson, we're going to talk more about the remote exterior angle theorem. The remote exterior angle theorem. Make sure you're familiar with that term. Make sure you're familiar with that terminology. And you know what it means, and you know how to use it when you see it in a problem. All right, so here we have a triangle, right? And we want to find the angle MFG. That's what we're trying to do. So first, let's identify and locate angle MFG. So look for point M. That's right there. Look for point F. That's right there. Look for point G over here. So that means that we're looking for the measure of this angle right here. All right. Now this angle is equal to an expression 15x minus 9. All right. Now, if I knew what x was, then I could easily just say, okay, well, this angle is equal to 15 times whatever x is, whatever that number is, minus 9, and I'd be done. But I don't know what x is. So question for me is, how can I figure out what x is? What rules from geometry do I know, right, that would apply in this situation? Now, in this particular video that I'm recording right now, in this lesson that I'm giving you right now, I already told you up front that we're using the remote exterior angle theorem. But, I mean, standardized tests, the SAT, a test your teacher might give you, a quiz, whatever, it's probably not going to be that sweet. They're not going to tell you up front that, oh, this is the theory that you're going to have to use. You're going to have to be familiar with all these theories and then be able to look at diagrams that you're given and look at the relationships between the angles and be able to figure out what theory you're going to have to use. All right. So make sure you're ready for that. Make sure that you're planning for that, because you're not always going to be told up front what theory you got to use. All right. So make sure you become familiar with the theories and you know when to use them in a given situation. All right. So I want to know what this angle is, right? So I need to set up an equation, right, so that I can solve for x. So I know that I have this angle and this angle are remote, meaning they're far away from this angle, which is also exterior. So this is a remote exterior angle, meaning that this angle is far away from these two angles and it's outside the triangle. So that means that the sum of these two angles, angle H and angle G, must be equal to the measure of this remote exterior angle. So watch this. I'm going to set up the equation. Angle H plus angle G is equal to angle MFG. Now, why you might be wondering, in case you're wondering, how come these angles are named with one letter and this angle is named with 3 letters? Because with this angle, you got to be more specific. Because if I just said, for example, the vertex is point F. If I just said angle F, you wouldn't know what I was talking about. Because if I said angle F, I could be talking about this angle inside the triangle, this interior angle, right? Which is really angle GFH. I could be talking about MFG, which is what we're talking about right here. Or I could be talking about angle MFH, which is a straight line or a straight angle. You have no way of knowing which angle I'm talking about if I just say angle F. All right? So that's why with this particular angle, you got to be more specific. And when we name angles in geometry and we need to get more specific, we use 3 letters instead of just using 1 letter, like H, G. I don't got to be more specific because ain't nothing else over here. G is over here by itself. I don't got to be more specific. H is up here by itself. I don't got to be more specific, right? But with this right here, I got to be more specific. So just keep that in mind. All right, so now we're going to replace the angle names with their measurements or the expressions that represent their measurements. So angle H is 36 degrees. That says 36 degrees, right? So we got 36 degrees. I ain't had to put the degree sign, but I just feel like doing it. And then G is 9x plus 15. So I put plus 9x plus 15. H is 36 because of that. G is 9x plus 15 because of that. And then that's equal to MFG. MFG is 15x minus 9. 15x minus 9. So I write equals 15x minus 9. And now I start my algebra. I start doing my algebra. All right. So on the left-hand side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to combine that 36 and that 15. I'm going to put them together. The 36 and the 15. I'm going to throw them together and make one number. So 36 plus 15, do a little bit of mental math. That's going to be 30 and 10 is 40. 6 and 5 is 11. 40 and 11 is 51. All right. So I got 51 plus 9x. The 9x was already there. I just brought it down. Equal sign, bring it down. 15x, bring it down. Minus 9, bring it down. Now, I'm trying to solve for x, but I got too many x's. All right? I need to get them x's on the same side of the equation, and I need to combine them. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to transpose. Now, in case you don't know what transpose means, transposing is something you do when you solve an equation. Basically, you pick up a term and just move it to the other side of the equal sign. Whether you move it from the right to the left or you move it from the left to the right, either way, you're moving it to the other side of the equal sign. But you got to be careful. You can't forget to change the sign. If you switch the side, you got to change the sign. You got to change the sign. If you don't change the sign, then you're not following mathematical rules and you'll get a wrong answer. And you don't want to get a wrong answer. So watch what I do. Watch this. Watch me work. I'm going to have minus or negative 15x plus 9x equals negative 51 minus 9. Right? Look what happened. This 15x was on the right side. Now it moved over to the left. Now it's negative 15x. The 9x was already over there. It's still there. The negative 51, where'd that come from? It came from right here on the left side. I moved it to the right side. Now it's negative. Where'd this minus 9 come from? It was already over here. Minus 9. Right? So now I transposed. I moved. It's one of these math shortcuts that we use. We just switch the side, change the sign. Write that down in your notes. Switch the side, change the sign. Switch the side, change the sign. All right? Positives become negative. Negatives become positive. All right? Just like I did up here. All right, so now we can combine like terms, because you can't, this is what I be seeing people try to do, right? They know about combining like terms, but they be trying to like combine like terms when the terms be on opposite sides of the equation. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like, I can't combine this 9x with this 15x. This 9x is all the way over here on the left side. This 15x is on the other side. We can't combine them. You can't combine like terms unless the terms are on the same side of the equation, right? I can't stress that enough. You cannot combine like terms unless the terms are on the same side of the equation. If they're on opposite sides of the equation, you can't combine them, right? You can use the inverse property and maybe subtract one of the terms on both sides of the equation, or maybe add one of the terms on both sides of the equation, but that's something different, right? Combining like terms is what we're about to do now. Negative 15x plus 9x is negative 6x. Bring that equal sign down. Negative 51 minus 9 is negative 60. All right? Now, I'm about to get x by itself. In order to solve for x, I got to get rid of negative 6. I do the inverse operation. Negative 6x means negative 6 times x. That's multiplication. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm dividing by negative 6. On the left side, I'm dividing by negative 6. On the right-hand side, boom, I got x equals positive 10. Don't forget, negative divided by negative is a positive. Negative divided by negative is a positive. That's going to be x equals 10. All right, but look, be careful. They didn't ask you to just solve for x. They asked you to find angle MFG. A lot of people will do all this work. It'd be real beautiful. They get the answer. They get x equals 10. They're going to think they're done. And they turn this in, right? Or write this as their final answer. Draw a box around it and move on to the next problem. They'll get the answer wrong because they didn't answer the question. The angle measurement is not 10 degrees. You got to figure it out. You got to go plug 10 into this expression, right? So what we got to do is this. We got to do 15 times 10 minus 9. 15 times 10 minus 9. 15 times 10 is 150. Use order of operations. 15 times 10 is 150. 150 minus 9 is equal to 141. So this is 141 degrees. 141 degrees. Now, how can I prove that? Let's check our work. Now, I know that this angle must be equal to the sum of this angle and this angle, right? So let's figure out what this is. If x is 10, then that means that 9 times 10 plus 15 plus that 36 up there should also equal 141. It should also equal 141. Let's see if it does. What's 90? 9 times 10 is 90, right? 90 plus the 10 from the 15 is going to be 100. 100 plus the 30 from 36 is 130. And then 6 and 5 and 0. Well, 6 and 5 is 11. What's 130 plus 11? 141. So we good. We good. All based upon the remote exterior angle theorem. We good. All right. X was 10. We took the x, used it to figure out what angle MFG was, which is right there. Right? Yeah, we good. We good money. All right. Now, I showed you how to do this. This was an example. I worked it out. Went through all the details and everything. But you're not really going to learn it until you start doing problems on your own. It's not enough just to watch me on all this math YouTube channel. That's not enough. You got to go get practice. So go do some homework problems or go online and look for some sample problems. Whatever you got to do, you got to practice. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. That's how you learn math. You learn math by doing math. You watch somebody show you how to do it, and then you got to take what you saw and then apply it on your own. All right? So you go get some practice, and I'm going to catch up with you on the next video. Peace.